everybody's out there chasing the best SA, the best HMO, the best title splits, the best buy to lets. However, the main thing is that's stopping a lot of people achieve great success in property is the mindset. So again, I speak a lot about mindset, especially to my mentees. You've got to remember quotes like, the skill set without the correct mindset will leave you upset and so on. And, one from Zig Ziglar as well. It's your attitude, not your aptitude, that affects your altitude. So again, the mindset is crucial to your success, not just in property, in life, in any business venture. Anyway, before I start to obviously get into it, make sure you hit that subscribe button for me, please. You've probably heard me say it before, about 75-80% of people that watch these videos aren't subscribers. So do me a favor, please. Just hit that subscribe button for us. Greatly appreciated. So if you've got pen and paper, whatever, start to write things down, type it on a Word document, your notes on your phone, whatever it is. But we've got to remember the skill set without the correct mindset will leave you upset. Now you think, well, how does that apply to building my property journey, building my property portfolio, building my wealth, building my cash flow, and so on? Again, think of one of Henry. I know it's got a bit of quote central here, isn't it? Think of one of Henry Ford's quotes. Okay, so whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right either way. So you could now be looking for deals, fantastic, rent to rent, lease options, HMOs, buy to let, serviced accommodation, but we need to make sure that we've got it up here. And now I'm not so much talking about you having an intellectual up there, knowing absolutely everything, but you've got to make sure that you've got that, what I'll always refer to as, being a black belt and so on, the black belt resilience, black belt discipline, black belt determination, black belt perseverance. We need to make sure that we understand from the outset that as we progress down this journey, that we are going to get knockbacks. We are going to hit the wall a few times. We are going to hit no. We're going to get downvalued on valuations. We're going to, vendors are going to pull out on us on the last minute. Finance is going to collapse and so on like that. But we've got to make sure that we keep getting up and keep showing up. So just a few things I'm going to cover here, really. So we could binge watch YouTube all day long. Again, did it years ago, writing endless notes. We could, I mean, just a little bit of my bookshelf there behind me, maybe 25, 30, maybe 40 books on property, including Audible as well. So we can all watch YouTube, we could endlessly watch YouTube, we could all read books, we can all attend seminars and workshops, and those are all fantastic, of course, but there's always going to be a but. Make sure we understand that the traffic lights are never going to be all green, okay? Or we can't wait for all the traffic lights to turn green before we go anywhere. Otherwise, we won't get anywhere. There's never really a perfect time. There's never really a good time to start anything, really. So if you're in your 9 to 5 at the moment, or again, you're a business owner and you want to invest your profits, your dividends into property because that's where the long-term wealth comes from. That's where the generational wealth piece starts. That's where the passive income starts. Fantastic, you're in the right place. But again, we've got to always have that mindset there, okay? So it's one thing I help my mentees with because, there's only so much you can mention about buy to let, HMOs, title splits, doing renovations, refurbishments, BRRR and so on. Again, if any of you read any of the blogs on my website, check them out. If you haven't, my name is Dervish, and then obviously the website is dervishdervish.com. Have a look, there's loads of blogs on there. Check out the rest of the videos on this YouTube channel as well. But again, going back to it, mindset is absolutely crucial, okay? So we can't expect that every viewing we go on, every offer or every lowball offer that we're putting is going to be accepted. Brokers are going to struggle to find finance and so on in certain instances. Some of the estate agents won't put your offer forward. Some of the estate agents won't really treat you properly because, they might not look at you as they would do with other people who have got more of a portfolio. Again, really, who's bothered? At the end of the day, you're there to make money. You're there to invest in your future. So just keep getting up, keep showing up. Really. Also got on my little list there. So the people that are successful again in any business. So are you building it to last? Or are you just building it for this month and then the month after, then the month after, and so on? So you've got to have that long-term vision. Now, I'm in no way saying create a 10-year plan or a 5-year plan just yet, but have an awareness of, do you know what? I'm going to get into property. I've got one property at the moment. I've got 0 properties at the moment, but I'm going to start to build out a portfolio. I don't know exactly how it works yet. or how it's going to look in 5 years. But what I do know is that if I put my money into bricks and mortar, that in the long run, even if there's a property correction crash in the next 5-10 years, in the long run, 20, 30, 40 years time, the value of the property will go up and it will beat inflation. And if anything, inflation will pay down the good debt that I've got on that property. So I know I'm jumping around a lot. I've got a few notes that I want to cover as well, but we've got to understand that it's our mindset that's going to obviously help or hinder us. How many people think, oh, I'll never be able to do this, I'll never be able to do that. I can't do this, I can't do that because you've never done it. But it's the growth is pushing past that comfort zone. So if you're on the fence now thinking, do I need mentorship? Do I need to attend courses? Do I need to attend masterminds? You do things that are going to help you improve, of course, gather this knowledge up here, but knowledge isn't power. It's applied knowledge, which is power, okay? So if you've already been on masterminds, if you've already been on courses, I'm sure you've got probably 80% more knowledge than other, how can I say it now, old school type of property investors, landlords, and it's just up to you to implement that knowledge. So really, you're not likely to need another course. You need more action. That's it, okay? So a good thing that I always tell my mentees is, especially on a Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, what am I doing this week to take my business further forward? That might mean I need to do more viewings. I need to do more research. I need to push this refurb along. I need to make sure I touch base with, these 3 people. So we should always be asking ourselves, putting our head on the pillow at night and thinking, right, how can I make my business better? How can I make sure that I'm building this financial fortress around myself? How can I make sure that I'm not constantly trading time for money? Now, I'm not saying trading time for money is bad, but again, I think it's Warren Buffett's another, one of his fantastic quotes. If you're always trading time for money, and you're not earning money when you sleep, then you're always going to be working. So there's nothing wrong with working. We all need to feel that we're contributing to things, but it'd be nice to just think, I want a week off, I want a month off, but yet money still drops into your account, okay? So just keep getting up, keep showing up, but remember this mindset. It's absolutely crucial. What else have I got on my sheet there as well? It's been a long time ago now, really, but before I got my first property, 2007, I think it was my dad that steered me into it because at the time the business was doing okay. I had some savings. I didn't really want to go out and get a flash car or anything like that. I was always one of those that if I couldn't afford it, then I wouldn't get it. Simple as that. But my dad said, obviously, invest in property. And that was pretty much it, really. So it was a case of, all right. And at the time, if anybody's watching this and we're around about the mid early 2000s, so 2004, 5, 6 ish, there seemed to be property, courses on, seminars on, investment shows pretty much every weekend in some fancy hotel. Everything was property, 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 property. And again, if you see the bandwagon, you're often too late. So I think I attended one in Manchester, some hotel, and then thought, right, well, I'll go for this, not really knowing what to do. I was absolutely naive, wet behind the ears, offered full asking price, didn't do pretty much when it comes to the refurbishment, when we got it over the line, got cowboy builders in, did absolute minimum to the property needed, didn't vet tenants. If they had a pulse, that was it. I've mentioned a lot of this on my blogs and again on my upcoming book, which will be coming out in early 2026. So if you're watching this after probably February, March 2026, get a copy of my book. So we've just got to understand that there's always going to be that hesitation, well, what happens if it all goes wrong? Flip it the other way. What happens if it all goes right? Well, what happens if I lose money? Flip it the other way. What happens if I make more money than I've ever had before in my life? Well, I don't know if this is going to be a good thing or not. It might turn out bad. Well, what happens if it's the best thing ever and it turns out really, really well? And then you think to yourself, why did I not do this before? So again, it's that mindset shift. You want to be looking at it from the positive aspect. Now, I'm not a great one for manifestation or anything. I'm not saying it does or doesn't work. Definitely not. I haven't looked into it that much. But I'm a firm believer in that positive mental attitude. We need to make sure that this is, tuned up well and understanding that each day I'm going to get up, there's going to be obstacles that crop up. There's going to be things that throw off my to-do list. But as long as I'm taking it further forward each and every day, each and every week, I know that at the end of the year, I'm going to get where I need to get to. So just before I finish off, again, have a look into the Black Belt Property Academy. Check it out on my website, dervishdervish.com. So we take white belt beginners in property, all the way through to black belt and beyond. So that's what we're looking for, really, is for people that want to get better, that want to become, serious people that are committed. That's a massive one for us. We don't want people that are doing the okey dokey, one leg in, one leg out, and that type of stuff. We want people that are going to turn up religiously, make notes, and implement what they learn. All right, and we're not one of these that are going to have hundreds of people in a room and just push information. I want to make sure that we're taking steps further forward for you to grow your portfolio, to make sure you're building out that cash flow, that passive income, and again, mainly the generational wealth. So I'm going to leave it there. I know it was a little bit all over. Most of the time they are all over when I'm doing the videos in my office. It's just I want to make sure that we've got this understanding that the mindset is absolutely crucial. I know I've said it probably 10, 15, 20 times. You probably know lots now about buy-to-let or HMO and or SA or whatever particular strategy you're looking to do, deal sourcing. But it's about you now thinking, right, I need to start going for this. I need to make sure, goals plus commitment equals success. I need to commit to these daily actions, to these weekly actions if I'm wanting this to be a success for me. However, if we don't do that, you get to the end of the year and you've done all these courses, you've gathered all this information, but not really done anything with it. And if it's just up here, just floating around, then it was a bit of a pointless task, really. Anyway, didn't want to finish on a downer. Have a look at the website, dervishdervish.com. Make sure you've subscribed to this YouTube channel and definitely keep investing in this mindset. I know if any of you have seen my YouTube shorts, I always try and finish it off with that. Keep getting up, keep showing up, keep compounding these daily wins and keep investing in this mindset, okay? Because in between the 6 inches here, that's often the person that you need to convince, all right? Other people will believe in you, but it's up to you in here, okay? Subscribe to the channel, check out some of the blogs on dervishdervish.com and like the video if you gain some value. Have a look at some of the other playlists as well and some of the other videos. Hopefully there's a lot of information on here if you're an aspiring property investor that wants to change their life. Good luck, all the best.